But in terms of overcorrecting, I mean, I think there is a possibility on the other side of this that inflation could actually be quite low.
Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is gonna be absolutely bonkers. Now, the data is in, and some sellers are starting to absolutely freak out that they have missed the peak of the best time to sell your house in the history of the housing market. That is gone. We peaked in June, according to Redfin, and all of these other data provider companies are soon to admit the same thing. Prices are currently going down. And I'm not just talking about new homes. New homes have already gone down 13.5% according to Fred Economic Data, which is Freddie Mac. According to Redfin, again, over 4% overall. So resale homes are also finally starting to price drop. And I'm not just talking about listings. And the reason that is sellers right now are starting to freak out. And I believe some of these resale homes and a lot of this inventory is actually coming from investors, right? There's a lot of houses that I'm personally seeing on the market that are completely empty. So I suspect we're going to start seeing some fire sales, not yet, but we're going to start seeing them, as I've been saying, towards the end of this year. And today what we're going to do is we're going to dig into some more data from Realtor.com by reading an article titled, "A New Normal, the Housing Market Just Seriously Shifted and Sellers May Be Running Out of Time." Now remember, you guys, I'm not a financial advisor, even if I want to be, but my bio is as a realtor, loan officer, instructor, renter, homeowner, husband, father, lost my house in 2008 to foreclosure. Absolutely love empowering people. I love real estate. I'm raising the alarm and saying right now, be cautious and not over optimistic. And I'm working hard to push that warning. So if you can, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, shoot me a comment below. You guys know they keep me going. You guys know they keep me going. And thank you for letting me have super long rambling intros. It allows me to talk to my subscribers. I love you guys. Let's get started on this article right now. America's housing market has been brutal on home buyers for the past 2 years, but at long last, signs suggest that the worst of it might be over. How's the housing market this week is our weekly column where we deliver the most up-to-date statistics on the 4 big stats on the housing market: home prices, number of new listings, total days on market, and mortgage rates. And for the week ending August 6th, these critical variables show that the tables are turning in favor of home buyers more than sellers. The housing market is resetting in a buyer-friendly direction. Granted, a buyer-friendly direction does not mean we are anywhere near the true blue buyer's market. The seller's market that has raged since COVID-19 pandemic is still going strong, but all signs show the clock is ticking and its days are numbered. Here's why the critical intel to help both home buyers and sellers stay on top of the highly dynamic world of real estate today. Now, it's really refreshing to at least see them talking about this, talking about the transition, acknowledging that it is shifting from a seller's market into a buyer's market. So despite the fact that Realtor.com is hiding behind that whole year-over-year price growth, and they do not stick heavily to week-over-week prices or month-over-month prices, which have been showing declines to pretty much every data provider. So I'm not sure why Realtor.com is not getting it right. But regardless, you guys, let's hop back into this article right now. The latest July data from Realtor.com places the median home price nationwide at $449,000. And for the week ending April 6th, listing prices rose by 15.5% over the same week last year. While this makes the 34th straight week of double-digit price growth, the good news hiding within the bad is it's also the second consecutive week of deceleration. For the week ending July 23rd, home prices rose 16.6%, followed by 15.6% the week ending July 30th. That is so misleading, but whatever. So this week's relative temperature, 15.5% hike, offers hope that home price growth might continue dwindling. And that's, again, that's not month over month. This is year over year. I hate how they use this. Do you see how when they use these numbers, it appears that things are still out of control? Don't you think this leads to fear of missing out? This is what drives me crazy. And a lot of YouTubers and even people that are on the other side of the coin, they can't get past this. They use this data for their narrative despite all of the other data. But whatever, the improvement has been substantial, but she's quick to point out that buyers in today's market may still face meaningful affordability challenges as the typical home listing price remains near a record high. And she's even saying it remains near, right? It's near it. It's not there. So that means that it's not there. It's down, right? It's lower. Right? Isn't that what it means? Am I reading this correctly? Persistent home buyers may still continue to find success. Second quarter data showed that home ownership rates increased from a year ago, both overall and for nearly every age and racial and ethnic group. The fact that home ownership rates have actually surged amid rampant inflation, rising mortgage rates, and other deterrents is proof that tenacious home buyers who stick with it do eventually prevail. Right, guys? Y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what they're saying? I love this attitude. I love whoever wrote this article. I'm loving their attitude, at least some of it. This is particularly true if they're willing to widen their home search to more remote areas beyond where they'd imagine they could. Live pre-pandemic places where it isn't so hard to own a home and make ends meet. One driving factor driving the success of home shoppers is an incredibly strong labor market that is pushing up wages and giving workers the ability to negotiate remote or hybrid working arrangements, even as in-person work is growing more common. With flexible work arrangements still available, home shoppers are able to consider homes farther afield of the office, in the more affordable suburbs, or even in new, less expensive states altogether, enacting their own personal plan to combat cost of living increases. And I absolutely love that. I know, the whole migration thing is a problem, but, you don't have to migrate necessarily to a different state. You can move out of possibly, depending on where you live, obviously, but don't go downtown. Don't go deep in a metro. Go to the surrounding areas. You're able to generally find more affordable housing there, right? So settle a little bit on distance if you can, and especially if you can work from home. If you can work from home, you should have options as long as you remain employed, right? And that's kind of a scary thing. But regardless, you guys, let's get back and finish this article right now. How home sellers are undermining today's buyer-friendly market. Of course, what's good for home buyers is bad for home sellers, many of whom are panicked they've missed the peak of the market and are calling off their plans to sell at all. For the week ending July 30th, the number of new listings on the market dropped by 8% year over year. New listings fell from a year ago for a fourth week. This is looking more and more like sellers may be wary of current market conditions, which have shifted substantially, even though they remain quite favorable to sellers who have owned for just about any length of time. And while overall inventory grew by 28% over the same week last year, the active listing count still trails its 2020 and 2019 levels by more than 15 and 45% respectively. More improvement in an active inventory is likely needed to bring balance, but the recent trend may be at risk if homeowners' attitudes towards selling now continue to deteriorate. And if home sellers continue to drop out of the market, it drives home buyers will have fewer properties to purchase and might get dragged back into a rabid seller's market they've just escaped. Then that's what I'm saying is possible to happen at the end of 2023 and into 2024. And that's why I keep saying, have that mindset that I'm suggesting. Have a mindset where 2023 is the last time you're going to be able to find a deal of your lifetime. Now, it may not be true. We may be able to find deals of our lifetime throughout our lives into 2024. But my point is have that mindset so that you are prepared. But either way, you guys, let's finish this article right now. Why home buyers aren't rushing to close the deal. In July, listings lingered on the market a mere 34 days before getting snapped up, nearly half the time it took 2 years earlier. Yet now that we've entered the lazy days of August, home buyers are at long last pumping the brakes and not feeling in such a rush. For the week ending August 6th, properties spent 3 extra days on the market compared with this time last year, showing a second consecutive week of slowdown. We expect more slowing ahead as the housing market resets. Mortgage rates rose. According to Freddie Mac, for the week ending August 11th, the average 30-year fixed rate mortgage increased to 5.22%, a steep spike from the previous week's 4.99%. As for what the future brings, that will hinge in part on whether swirling rumors of a looming recession prompt companies to roll out layoffs. The big question for consumers is whether companies will overreact to a recession concerns and start trimming payrolls. A sharp pullback in hiring could have a direct impact on people's ability to keep spending, especially with today's high inflation. In other words, home buyers may want to take full advantage of this buyer-friendly market while it lasts. Now, remember, you guys, what my forecast is, and I haven't really needed to change it. If anything, we're right on track with what I've been projecting since March of this year. Now, I'm suspecting good buying opportunities to be present at the end of this year, right? Q4 of 2022. Now, I expect 2023 to have even more deals, and I expect that many of us that can weather this storm and are preparing are going to be able to become winners and get ahead and be rewarded for our discipline. We are the ones that stood out while everyone was freaking out, right? It was hard for even myself to like get that out of my head. The emotions, you guys, are absolutely wild, which is why you need to use logic. You need to play the fundamentals, not the emotion. Now, other than that, you guys, I really appreciate you tagging along with me on this journey. I hope you got value out of today's video. And if you're out there investing in real estate, I do wish you luck and I hope you win.